Hi, welcome to this video on the filter function. Now, the filter function is one of the very new functions on Microsoft Excel that is available only to Office 365 users. So if you're not working on Office 365, you're not going to see this beautiful function. I will advise that you install Office 365 so you can enjoy the beautiful things that this function has to offer. Now, this function can do a lot of things, and most users have described this function vividly. In fact, someone said this is a function that can do almost everything. Somebody said this filter function is the greatest function that Microsoft has ever created. It is a wow function. I love this function, and it's making me go crazy each time I think of the many things that this function can do. The filter function have reduced clicking icons to filter data to just mere simple function. It can actually come in terms of sum ifs, count a function, and it can actually be doing data validation analysis for you. It's a powerful function, and I'm just thinking seriously of running a full blast training on this function alone. That tells you how massive it is. It's a very big, robust function that Microsoft has created. Now, without wasting time, let's go straight to the syntax, and I'm going to take my time to explain the syntax one after the other so that we can understand the flow of this powerful syntax. Now, before we go to the data, let me explain the logic syntax. Remember, every function in Excel has its own logic syntax, and the logic syntax for filter is equal to filter. That's what I have here. Bracket open, you have your array. After your array, you take a comma, include, comma, and you have if empty in braces. Now, these are three arguments within that logic syntax, with two arguments being compulsory argument and one optional argument. I'm sure we all know that most functions in Excel have optional arguments, usually written inside a braces this way. So for this, the if empty is an optional argument. That means you can do without it. Let me explain now what those various arguments are. The first one is the array. The array simply means the data range where filtering is to be done. Now, this data range can be a column, and it can be a selection within your sheet made up of numerous columns. In this training, we're going to look at array selected from one column, and I'm going to also create another video after this. We're going to look at the next video after this, where we'll have array that selects a range of columns. The next one is include, which is the second argument. Now, the include is equivalent to the criteria range argument. Within that criteria, we are going to create an argument. That argument or expression or a statement or a logic is likely going to result in true or false results. So the last optional one is if empty. If empty simply means in the event that there is no item within your selected data range that meets your criteria, what do I return? Which is equivalent to the if error or if false argument in our usual simple if statement. Now, if you don't include any argument, it will give you an error message. That will not make your data irrelevant anyway. But some of us don't like having error messages in our data, so we knock them off. Usually I use the if error. For the simple if statement, you just create a false value. Now, look at our data here. We have this huge data. There are data of dispatches of products by company to various customers in different locations. Now, this file could as well be hundreds of thousands of rows. Now we have here 2,500 rows. Within that 2,500 rows, a few selections have been done here. We have product code, and we are told to indicate the shipment date of this particular product as well as the city they were shipped to. Now, everything here for these few ones, they are also in this mass data. And you will agree certainly that it's going to be a huge work to begin searching this one after the other in a very large file this way. Now, somebody will ask, can VLOOKUP do this? Well, let's see. We know what the VLOOKUP does. But if you check this, we have this product code, which is the unique value, and we are looking up a value on the left. and another value is on the right to that product code. Now, because we have a value on the left, VLOOKUP can certainly not pick this value. So VLOOKUP will actually be useless in this exercise. Index and match. Yes, index and match can do this because we said that the index can match to the left of your unique value and to the right. But we are here to test the filter function. So we're going to follow this logic, and I'm going to say equal to filter. Now, if you don't have Office 365, you're not going to see this filter on your function. I open a bracket and it's asking array. Now, we define the array as the data range where filtering is going to be selected. Now, I have this as shipment date. So I come here and look for shipment date. This is the shipment date. I'm going to highlight the whole of this area and hold that place fixed. I take a comma. The next thing it's asking is include. Now, within that, I want to use the product code, which is what I have there. So I'm saying it should include this product code and return it wherever it is equal to this particular product code I have here. Let me go over this again. Search within that product code and see which one equates this particular value. Now, that is my include. The last argument I will say is optional. So for now, let's leave the optional one and just press our enter key. Now it's saying that this particular product was shipped on this date. So all I need to do is to copy this down, and I have all my shipment date for this particular product. Now for city, it's the same thing. I'm going to say equal to filter. Now we are talking about the city. So I'm coming here to redefine the city is here. So I'm going to define this and I hold that fixed. I take my comma. I move back to the product. Now I'm also going to equate that to the product code because that is our argument unique value. Now I don't want to include the optional argument for now, so I press enter and I get Philadelphia. So I am going to copy that down to the end here. Fine, my work is done using the filter button. But let's see, what if I have a code here that is not existent in this place? This code is ending 909. Let me change that to 901 and see. Look at what happened. It shows an error message. Now, if you do this, you will actually know that this value don't exist. But look, your work a little bit nasty here. So what we'll do, we are going to include the optional argument. Remember, we said the optional argument returns a value if there are no values that meet the requirement within your selected data range. So I'm going to correct this back, and I'm coming here. I'll remove this and take my comma, and it's asking for the if empty, which is the optional argument. Now I'm saying in the event that that number is not there, let's return something like code not found. Code not found. Yeah, code not found. So I'm going to press that. I can also do that here. In the absence of that, I'll say code not found. Okay, fine. So let's now take out that number and press R1. You see, wherever you place a number that is not existing within your database, is saying code not found. Now, you know, using that, I can actually achieve this using the if error. That's why I stated earlier there that this is almost like the if error approach. If I come here and say if error, that means if this translates to an error, is the same thing. I can actually come here and say code not found. Is that spelling correct? Great. So I can use if error here if I don't want to use this last optional argument. Now I have used this argument here. I have not corrected this, so you can see this is showing code not found, this is showing code not found, even though I've used different arguments. So that's how to use the optional argument. I'm going to copy this back, and I'm going to correct this. Let me take this back to, was it 9? Yeah, cool. So this is the filter function. Now we are going to look at another example where the filter function is going to take an array that includes numerous columns rather than one single column, and where also the include is a subset of the array. Remember what we did now, the include and the array, they are different ranges defined. But we're going to look at a situation where the include will be a subset of the array. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll wait for the next video and let